Hello there. I thought I'd do a video on the Discovery today. I've not done one on the Discovery since probably its very first video, so it's a little bit out of date. I've not worked on this for at least 12 months and it's not been started for at least 18. So I'll show you what I've done so far and then we might have a go at trying to start it and see what happens. Okay, so what's been happening? I'm sorry about the focus, but I can't help it focusing in like that. I have got some new parts for it. That centre console there is actually split in a couple of places near the cigarette lighter, so I managed to source a better one, which you can just see there. Obviously you can see the interior is in pieces. What I have done under there, under here, is I've had this rubber soundproofing up, and at some point someone's had the rubber boot which covers these two gear sticks up, and they'd pretty much drilled all half of the rivets out and left them in, and it was a real mess. So I've managed to put some of those fast nuts in around the edge and screw it down with self tappers, so at least it's removable. I've got these air I don't know what you call them, but they take air from the front of the car there to the back to the vents, I think, which are under there. So they're back in, but I'm not quite ready for that yet because I've got welding to do. I've got a nice big hole in the floor here to do. I've already started making up parts for it. And what I will do, oh sorry, it's a little bit close, is I will put some pictures up, stills of what I had to do here. This panel, this whole panel, once upon a time you used to be able to buy, you can't now. So if you can just see there, you can see the welding there I've had to make. This was all completely rotten, so I've had to put a new panel in here, and also make up floor panels from here. There's one of them. And I've also had to make this one, which is the finisher panel, which will end up going in there like that. So it will look something like what was there before, and hopefully the holes that are either side of my thumb will line back up again with the plastic skirting which goes around the inside. I guess the anti-splash panel, I guess you call it. So I should be all right that, as long as I keep the same sort of thickness of a disc where that gap is. That's pretty much what I cut out, so I should be somewhere near. So I've got those two bits to weld in. Obviously you can see the engine, because the inner wing, I've had to remove that, and I'll show you what that looks like in the workshop. So this is the new inner wing panel. I bought it as a kit. You have to put it together yourself. I think the company will spot weld it together for you if you want to, but there was a bit of a lead time on that. I'll just come around this side. I managed to reuse the passenger side, but it's not really a battery tray. It's where the jack and chock goes for when you change a spare wheel. I've wanted to reuse it because the new panel doesn't look, it looks similar, but it's nowhere, it doesn't quite look the same as this, so I've managed to reuse the old one. It didn't seat in absolutely perfect. I couldn't get it to sit in there very well, but it will do. No one's going to really notice it. So that's the front where the headlight goes. And so it all comes in pieces. I've had to add some bits myself. This tag here is actually for where the oil cooler bolts to, because in the original one there's actually a hole, and it's where they punch the material out and it's folded over. I don't have that to show you because that's since been scrapped. So that's the inner wing panel as for the passenger side so far. I've still yet to obviously plug weld it all up and get it into some sort of primer before I fit it. There's the original one, and you can see how bad the rust was. That's obviously where that tray sits for the jack and the wheel chock. Obviously this is where the engine would be. That's where the water washer bottle lives to the windscreen, and you can see where it traps water underneath it. And that's parallel, that piece of the panel there is parallel to that repair I've done at the top of the bulkhead panel. So water basically sits in places and it just rots them away. Also around the front of the scuttle, these pieces here, these tags I guess you could call them, I had to draw around the original ones and weld those back in. They're again what hold the plastic splash guard in place, because like I said, this panel doesn't exist anymore. You can't buy it as a new one. This ledge here is where the back of the wing sits, and the washer bottle is basically here. This is part of the kit. You get this galvanized ledge, which is pretty much just, well, not, it's plug welded there, and that's where the rear of the inner wing welds to. I'm hoping that you can see that because the sun's very bright, but that is the driver's side battery tray, or what is below it, sorry. The circles you can see there, that that's the base of the battery tray, but this rot here is below the battery tray. And this is what the other side looked like. And you can see the relief pushed in here for that little bit of angle I told you I had to weld on the other chassis upright, or body upright, whatever you want to call it, sorry. That's where your body mount is in there for the front, one of them. Obviously I don't have one this side because at the moment it's not there. But yeah, this relief isn't in the new panel, so you have to either put, I guess you could, if you want to make it look original, you could cut a hole like that and flap it over. I didn't bother, I just left it solid and welded a small piece of angle. So eventually the oil cooler here can bolt to it. Fortunately this is in quite good condition. Right. Let's see if it starts. I won't film me trying to do it, but all this loom here, or a majority of it, has got to basically go back through that hole there, because I need a few plugs for it to work. So I'll get that stuffed into place. Right. Okay, I kind of think I've got things where I need them to be. I think the most important one that I need on this side is this one here. I won't profess to be an expert on the Discovery loom because I'm not. Obviously I've got ignition and everything down there already, and I've got the connection for the airflow meter there. So as far as I know, it's just that one, otherwise it doesn't work. So what we'll try and do now, see if we can get a battery on it and see if it will start. Bearing in mind it has been 18 months I think since its last fire up. As you can see, there is some pieces missing. I'm going to need to fit the rubber elbow and airflow meter on the plenum chamber there. So I'll go and find the parts for that. So obvious things is going to be just to check the oil, make sure there's oil in it. So just see if the battery fits now, because it's not the right one for the vehicle. Okay, so I've checked the oil and the coolant level. Because it's not run for such a long period of time, I don't really want it firing off straight away. I'd like to get some oil pressure up in it first, so what I'll probably do is I'll crank it over a few times without it actually firing. So to do that, I don't want it to flood either, so I'm going to have to probably pull the fuse for the fuel pump, and I'll just take the coil lead off to the distributor so it doesn't actually have an ignition. So I'm just going to take the fuse box lid off if I can. Be careful because someone's already been in here before, and I think they've broken one of the little tags on the box. Yeah, it's a little bit dinged. So when you take it off like that, I'm presuming you have to then turn it like that, which then gives you your fuel injectors 20, the fuel pump is 15, then you've got 30 which is ABS. I don't have ABS. And the next 30 is hazards and horn, then aircon, fans and fan clutch. I don't think I've got any of that. Side lights and heated rear window. So I need to pull out the 15 amp one so the fuel pump doesn't start. If I can get it out, he says. Wow, that's no tight. Let's get a pair of pliers. Okay, so I've pulled the HT lead off from the coil to the distributor cap, and I've taken the fuel pump fuse out so the fuel pump won't run. So hopefully it'll just turn over. Let's just see what happens. So I thought I had everything connected, which I did, but the grey plug on here hadn't quite snapped in, and it had partially come out. I'm not 100% sure what this is. It says an AWR. It says ABS on it, but this vehicle doesn't have ABS, so I'm not sure about that, unless that's just a section of pins for ABS is that side of the plug. I don't know, but it's because this box wasn't connected properly. That's why I didn't want to crank. So what I'll do now is I'll try cranking over a few times, get the oil pressure up, and then we'll go for a fire. Right, so I'll put the fuse for the fuel pump back in and then we'll put the HT lead on. The reason I've done that is just to make sure we get some oil pressure up, because I know that when this starts sometimes one of the lifters is a little bit, it taps a little bit, and also I want to obviously get the oil pump primed and get the oil everywhere because it's not been turned over for quite a while. So I think that should do. We should have oil pressure now. Right, let's see what happens. For being stopped for 18 months, is it? Right, so work that still needs to be done. As I've already shown you, we've got the floor and the kick panel there. So there's got to be, the bottom of the kick panel's got to be replaced, which I've already made the bits up for. And well, just so you know as well, the reason it sounds like it does is because I've got the delete pipe, so my centre pipe is missing. It's standard all the way to the back. It's got the rear silencer, but that's all, and it's still, it does have the catalytic converters up there, because apparently that's a legal requirement. If you've got, as far as I know, if you've got EFI, you do have to have the cats. So that's why she sounds like she does. I don't think it's too loud, but I can't rev it up too much because the neighbours will probably complain. So I hope you can see that. This camera's not very good, but this is the bottom of the sill, and that's the middle door post there. You can see the bottom of it there, and that's all the rust. So I've got a sill which I'm going to redo. It's actually worse under there. You can see that it's pretty bad, and it's gone at the end as well. So, just speaking quietly because people think I'm talking to myself and gone crazy while I'm sat here on my arse on the drive. The idea is I've got a sill. I'm probably going to take this one up to about probably here somewhere. I don't really want to try and cut the whole thing out, and then I'll joddle the new sill, and all I really want is this part of it at the moment, as far as I know. The inner sill is actually quite good. So we'll just have to see how I do it. I mean, ideally you should probably cut the whole thing out, but I'm on my driveway. I don't want to be cutting too much out of it because I'd like some support still on here if I can, without cutting too much up and possibly, you know, maybe sagging the roof or misshaping it maybe. So I'll try and keep in as much as I can, but replace pretty much the full length of what I need. I'm a bit tight for space because my wife's car is right behind me. But yeah, that's what I've got to do. Probable rear body mount there that's behind this might need to be done. It just depends on the condition. I've got one at the back there that needs to be done, which you might just be able to see. You can see how bad they're not very nice. The other side is the same. I've got those they'll have to be cut out and done. The rear cross member's not brilliant, but I think I can probably repair it. And the arch has got a bit of corrosion in it. I know the other side is actually worse. I've also got new brackets for the what do you call it, mud guards as well, mud flaps, sorry. So I've got that to do. You can't see it, well, you might be able to see it. There's a lot of rot in that top corner, so I know definitely this inner wheel arch has got to be done. I showed you the front of it under the battery tray earlier. It's just disappeared. The body mount down there behind the steering knuckle there, or steering UJ on the shaft, that body mount, which is essentially that one down there, but on this side you can't quite see it, but that's rotted away, so that needs doing. The sill on this side is actually not too bad, but the arch is quite bad. So yeah, that's where we're at now. I don't think that did too bad considering it's been stopped for about 18 months. It pretty much fired up straight away. I would like to run it for longer. I've got it so that basically both tubes or both hoses are actually hot now, so she's up to temperature, and that'll have to do. I can't rev it up too much because it's quite noisy, and my neighbours will complain. So that's where I'm at with it at the minute. Unfortunately, I have to go and work away in Ireland for 10 weeks now, so my plan is when I get back is just to try and hit this hard and try and get it done, because this is supposed to be my, not daily driver, but my drivable project or rolling restoration. But it was obviously, when I bought it on eBay, and it wasn't until I got it that I realised actually how bad it is. I know there's probably a lot worse examples out there, but she does need a bit of welding, as you can see. I'll show you the sill panel in a second. And that's the sill panel, or what's left of it, because I've actually cut out material to repair the floor pan, because I'm not cutting out this front section, because it's actually alright, and the body mount up this end is okay as well. So I'm probably just going to take out what I need, which will pretty much be this all the way along up to the other end, and maybe some of the top half of that. We'll just have to see, but I'm just going to take what I need without cutting too much good material out of the vehicle. Okay, right, I'm pretty much done for the day. It's not the most productive video. I just wanted to see if it would actually start, which obviously it does, and to just show you how far I've got. This is only the second video I've done, I've actually been more concentrating on my other projects, so yeah, a bit tight for space now because the wife has got her car back on the driveway, so I can't really do a great deal else. So what I'm planning on doing is tomorrow, if I get time, because like I said I'm going away for quite a long period, I'll try and get that this here welded in, the scuttle panel there and the footwell, get that done. As you can see, I've had to tuck all the wiring back in and take off the airbox and flow meter because there's no wing to support it, and I don't want to leave it there for a long period of time, so that's all gone back in the boot. The plan will be get back from my job in Ireland and then hopefully hit it hard and try and get it back on the road again, because it is nice to drive. It's a shame that it sits here. It's been sat here nearly 2 years now, so I really need to be getting on with it. I'm sure the neighbours love having it sat here. It doesn't look too bad from the other side because the wing isn't removed, but this side obviously, it doesn't look that great. So I think they did really well. The fact it's not been started for 18 months, it just went on the button. I think it did anyway for the first time. Obviously the cranking I was doing, as you already know, was just to get the oil pressure up, but I think it pretty much went straight away. So that's really good. I guess that's EFI for you. I presume if it was carburettors and points and things like that, it would be a little bit different, but on maybe the older Rovers. But yeah, I'm really impressed with that. That's not bad for something that's got 105,000 miles on it. Yeah. So anyway, well, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll have possibly another video tomorrow if I get some welding done. Okay, take care.